Welcome to Beyond the Things Written. About today, I wanted to talk a little bit about something I did a video about. The answer is in the journey, and how here on BTTW we don't focus on changing your beliefs to mine, or my beliefs are important, or what do you believe now, and to go tit for tat as we did often as Jehovah's Witnesses, as we argued with people's beliefs that are often ambiguous, not clear. As I told you, one of the first lessons I learned from Raymond Franz when I bombarded him with a bunch of questions was, it gave me in a nice way, saying, there's sometimes there's things that we just cannot know. We just cannot be certain. We don't have access to the information, so it's better to be non-dogmatic about it. And that's a good approach, I think. My experience has taught me the years since that's an excellent approach. We focus on our character of who we are. And that's the most important thing. But I want to talk a little bit about why I think, too, it's important not to just give people how can you say, all the information, or where you're at, what you believe, if you just started this journey compared to where you are 20 years ago. If 20 years from now, if I'm believing the same things that I do now, I'm not doing it right. Now, obviously, there are certain things, foundational things, they're going to have more solidity to it. But unfortunately, the uncomfortable truth is that many things we cannot have the surety that we would like. That's just a fact. It's an uncomfortable fact. It's part of our psychology as human beings to always have reasons and rhymes of why things are going on, what the answer is. Things are black and white, and that's just the uncomfortable truth of life. We cannot have all the answers. I certainly don't have all the answers. Nobody does. We are often extremely uneducated when we get out of the Watchtower world. And the danger with that is to fall from one era to the next. And I did. And my story, I'm going to tell you how I went from one era to the next and to the next. And it took me a while to gain my footing. But the story I want to share today about how the answer is in the journey. The answer is in that struggle to the answer. Is a book that I read. One of the first scholarly books I read. It's called The Corinthian Body. And it's from a fellow named Dale B. Martin. And Dale B. Martin is a Christian. He's a Christian scholar. He's retired now. And one of the things that you can do right now, if you like, is to look up Yale University. I think it's Yale University. And look up Dale Martin. And there's a whole university course that a Christian, devotional Christian, did that on the New Testament. I believe it's the whole New Testament, if I'm not mistaken. But I might be 100%. I think it's the New Testament, though. And it's an introductory type of course. And I heard about this book, I think from there. He mentioned it. And so I went, got it, and I opened it up, and I started reading it, and I started to almost cry. And the reason I almost started to cry, because I could barely understand any of it. I could barely understand any of it. It was that frustrating. I went and grabbed a dictionary, and I sat down with it, and I proceeded to go through this book, line by line, sometimes taking an hour, half hour to get through a page, looking up every word I didn't understand, over and over again, until I finally understood what that word meant, and the next word, and the next, and the next, and the next, and you get the point. Until I finished this book, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, along with that dictionary. And then eventually, after years, the dictionary went away. On the iPad, it was nice because you can get the dictionary definition right away, all those books on the iPad. And I was consumed for a decade. 4 or 5 books a day that I would go through at times. And I educated myself on scholarly topics. on critical thinking, logical fallacy. And it took a lot of work. And it took a lot of hours. But the answers came. The answers came in time. If you gave me the answer at the end, I don't think I would have appreciated the answer at the end. I don't think I would have really got the answer at the end. I may have not understood it at the level that I like to think that I understand some of these answers that I've gotten. So I want to share that experience about being educated, self-educated, you might say. And a lot of you witnesses, ex-witnesses out there are going to be in a similar spot. We were taught that we were educated, the best education of the world. We were not. We were poorly educated, and we were poorly educated for a reason. For a reason. We are trying to tackle this system of control that is forcing the authority that forces this, really, because Jehovah's Witnesses don't come to any of those conclusions. They come to their conclusion that this is an authority that speaks to God, and the only authority that speaks to God. And that is why they're that's why they're pioneering. That's why they're doing all these things. That's why they're shining. They never came up, read the Bible, learned Greek, and, oh yeah, that's what it says. Parousia, oh, it means invisible. No one came up with that. The authority, and often because you're indoctrinated as a child, like I was. I mean, how are we supposed to, as a little kid, you believe anything that you're told as a child? So the answer is in the journey. I would recommend two things. Now that's taken me 20 years to get over, 15 years to realize it was a call, is to get educated and take care of your mental health. Because now it's not the same for everyone, but I would surmise that it's very difficult to not have been damaged by this group in some way. I was very much abused and damaged by this group harmfully, that I could not function in society properly, and I'm just starting to function properly. And I don't want you to take 20 years. So I recommend those two things, and embrace the journey. You'll get the answers. Keep on seeking. Keep on searching. And the answer might not be the one you're looking for, but that's a good thing too. Keep your heart open. Keep your mind open. And how can I say this? As you begin to gain more information, as you begin to collect the information, make up your own mind. You know, oftentimes you read one book and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Good. You know, Paul was this. Paul was a Jew. Then you read another book and like, Paul wasn't a Jew. Then you read another book and Paul's a Gnostic. And then read another. And then you realize after a while, you've taken all this information, all the scholars have different opinions on everything, that you can start trusting your own thoughts and thinking and reasoning. And that's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. And that's what we're aiming for you, for yourself. So thanks for tuning in on this. And as we always say, don't be afraid of them. What they say, time is on our side. Keep well, and we'll see you next time on Beyond the Things Written.